and I found it because Bacardi went and remade released the recipe for it after it had like a bit of a revival. So stay to the end of the show, and if we still have some time, I'll throw out the recipe.
You'll say what it is.
I'll say what it is, and I'll tell you the recipe because I found it and I saved it for the show for anyone who wants to make a dulce de leche.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So we got a great show lined up for you today, and we're excited about. We're going to be joined very shortly by Vanessa Martinez. She's a property manager for York Place Apartments. Then later in the show by Leanne Petit-Clement, the general director, and Linda Brofsky, the director for Charlottesville Opera, director of Guys and Dolls this weekend. So I'm very excited to hear about that because unlike you, I was not able to make it to the dress rehearsal. So I'm excited to go this weekend, and I'm gonna, I want to learn more about it from Linda. So she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to be joined later in the show by Hannah Keller from Friends of Seville, just learning more about, what's been going on at the downtown mall events and initiatives and what do people look forward to this summer. So there's just so many exciting things to cover this morning on Today y Mañana. So
Absolutely.
It's going to be fantastic. Be sure to like and share. Send us any questions, comments. Johnny Ornelas, amigo del programa, already liking and sharing. I know his wife Philadelphia, she loved going to, I think there was a dress rehearsal for the little ones for
kids,
Guys and Dolls. So I think she had a marvelous time I saw there. So that's fantastic. We're looking forward. I probably would have had.
Well, I'm not surprised. Philadelphia is a very cultured woman. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today y Mañana. I'm Alex. This is Nick. We're very excited to have you joining us here this morning on a rainy morning here in Charlottesville, Virginia. But that's just a great opportunity to grab your café con leche, get down into your cozy spot, and enjoy some Today y Mañana. And I got to do a shout out to Judah Whitcar, our producer here. He, as wedding gift, he got my wife and I matching his café con leche and her café con leche mugs. So next week, I forgot to bring it today, but next week on the show, you're going to see me drinking my café con leche out of his café con leche mug, courtesy of Judah. So that's, we really appreciated that. She and I were thrilled. I was like,
Make sure you don't bring the wrong one. That's all I can say.
No, I'll make sure it's mine. Otherwise she'll be mad at me. She'll be like, he stole my mug.
He stole my mug.
Already got some people liking the show. Johnny Ornelas, amigo del programa. Muchísimas gracias for watching the show this morning. Great man here in Charlottesville. Just a great entrepreneur. Inspiration to the Latino community. So thank you so much for watching this morning. Thank you, Tan Tay. I hope I pronounced that right, for watching the show this morning on the Forward Adelante stream. We got thank you, Elizabeth Erpy, Dr. Elizabeth Erpy, for watching the show this morning. She is joining us watching. We got a great show lined up. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to be joined shortly by Vanessa Martinez, property manager for York Place Apartments. Then later in the show by Leanne Petit-Clement, the general director for Charlottesville Opera, who's bringing with her newcomer.
Yeah.
Leanne's been here before. She knows how this goes. She's like, all right, I know.
She's a pro. Yeah.
She's a pro already. And she's bringing with her Linda Brofsky, the director for this weekend's Guys and Dolls at Charlottesville Opera. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to be joined by Hannah Keller from Friends of Seville. So it's going to be an amazing show today. How you feeling, Nick?
I feel great. I'm ready for it.
You're ready for it? So am I. This is going to be fantastic. Of course, love being here with you on the I Love Seville Network set. A couple shout outs, big thank you. Emergent Financial Services, of course, for presenting. And then our amazing partners at Craddock Sirius Insurance. That's our friends Miguel, Corradine, and Chit. I think Miguel is up there for
Best of Seville, yeah. So make sure to go vote for Miguel.
Forward Adelante, Charlottesville Opera. Also, I'm pretty sure up there for. Undoubtedly. See, it's not fair, but it's like best opera of Charlottesville.
Well, no,
really doesn't do it justice.
Is it classical music?
That's classical music.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really do it justice because if you expanded the region to Central Virginia, Charlottesville Opera should be up there for those two.
Right.
There was a best of Virginia,
imagine best of state,
Mid-Atlantic. you should really be like like Best of Charlottesville just really doesn't quite cut it for Charlottesville Operates. Like it's too good.
Right, it's kind of too good.
So of course our friend Matias Yon Realty, Castle Hill Cider, and Forward Adelante, Premier Latino Networking.
Kind of same with Castle Hill Cider, where it's sort of like since cider is classified as a wine, they should be up there with like best winery.
Oh yeah, I know.
Right, I mean, there's kind of like you could argue that as a wine,
we're just gonna have the
it's
different
still,
call to like Best of Super and be like, you got to change up the,
some of these groups you got to change.
Charlottesville's not big enough for some of what we have here in
Yeah.
Charlottesville. You got to do like Best of all Virginia or something.
Yeah, and then we have them go narrow on like best of Thursday morning podcasts at 10:15.
At 10:15 a.m. Oh man, we won. Alrighty, so I mean, I don't know about you. I'm excited.
I'm ready.
To
Let's
jump
go.
right in this morning. All right, so we are super excited to welcome to the show this morning Vanessa Martinez. She is the property manager for York Place Apartments. Vanessa, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No,
Excited.
we're very excited about it. So for those who haven't met you before, tell us like a little bit about yourself, how you first got interested in property management, real estate, and how you connected with York Place team.
Yeah. So I've been doing property management for about 8 years now. So I actually started in student housing in Harrisonburg. So as you know, JMU. So we worked a lot with JMU students, a lot of EMU students as well. So I've been there. I was there for a couple years. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting the residents and, providing a place for them. And then I worked my way up to Charlottesville, and I got into multi-home family housing, and I really just enjoy, I enjoy working with residents and providing them homes. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, big transition when you go from
yeah,
Harrisonburg to okay to totally and different groups of people than just students.
exactly. Yep.
Which must be neat. So what are some of the apartments that you help manage? Like when people said these York Place apartments, like where in their head should they kind of be like looking?
Yeah. So we actually have our leasing office in York Place Shops here in the downtown mall that
Oh.
you can find us there. But we have properties throughout the downtown mall. If you go to yorkplaceapartments.net, we have them throughout the downtown area. But we also have a apartment complex out by Hollymead, Abington Place. So we do have some apartments out there as well. So we're pretty much everywhere. So
Yeah, so I mean, it's like it's neat to like super easy to find.
Yeah.
It's on the it's just
Yeah.
you find York Place, it's
Yeah.
like there it is.
Yeah.
But like really just all around the city.
yep. And our concentration is very much the downtown area,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we have a lot of different demographic as far as with different people that choose to live in the downtown area. But it's always good.
Yeah, yeah. What is like out of curiosity? I would imagine you always have people who are interested in being like, yeah, I'd love to be in the downtown area, particularly near the mall. What's kind of like when they kind of come to you and they're looking there? What are they kind of looking for? What are they kind of excited about when they want to move?
I think they just want to enjoy just being able to just walk down to a coffee shop, walk down to a restaurant. The shows that they play here, we have a theater, we have the Teen Pavilion, so you have a lot of access to that. So I think that's one of the things that residents enjoy living in the downtown area for.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those things that, we're kind of lucky to have. I mean, we were talking with Matthias once that not a lot of places have a walkable
Pedestrian mall.
pedestrian
Yeah,
downtown.
exactly, yeah.
So it's an interesting idea. Like it kind of resonates with people that might be more familiar with like a big city where you can kind of walk
Exactly.
to everything that you may be interested in. But like you have it here, even though it's not a big city.
Exactly. Yeah. No, everything is pretty much accessible. You have a grocery store. You have your restaurants and everything. So access for sure.
Absolutely. So for those who might not know, so what does a property manager do? How might people interact with you?
So I'm pretty much the go-to person for the owner. Any delinquency reports, any reporting on our marketing, reporting on what demographic is are we attracting, and what better advertising we can do, or how we can update an apartment. those kinds of things is what I
get people to
mainly
know
work
about
on.
it.
Yeah.
Or learn more. Any interesting changes you've been seeing, like trends or things you've been noticing?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I will say I think working with Charlie, we've been updating a lot of our apartments. We've been looking at what people are asking for. We've sent out surveys to our residents and kind of like figured out what they're wanting to see, like on our rooftop terraces and everything. So we're just making changes like those. So
yeah, keeping up with kind of the needs
Keeping
and
it-
the community and so forth. Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's
Yeah.
pretty neat. Yeah. So what's a typical way that so if someone's interested in it's like, oh man, I didn't even know that there were York Place apartments, or like first time. Would they reach out to you? Would they contact the office? How would they interact with you?
Yeah, so I guess you can try if you look around with property management, you can really just start out in property management as a leasing consultant and then work your way up to property manager. But I would say I would begin there. Learning how to lease an apartment, also learning the Virginia law and all of that, and then but yeah, you can definitely contact me. I'm happy to help guide someone if they're interested in doing that.
Interesting, yeah. Got some fans watching. Laura Rockland watching the show this morning. Rosalia Tordoro, I think from Miami watching this morning. So. Forward Adelante obviously is, one of our big partners here, and, just always, trying to give inspiration to Latino entrepreneurs, Latina entrepreneurs. Any advice you might have that, like, for Latina professionals or Latinos who might be saying, okay, I'm interested in getting into, like, the professional spheres or so forth? No,
for sure. Definitely, I would say don't stop growing. I think when I came into this, I started out as just, admin and just, working with a property manager, being their assistant. And, I just kept going. Like, I just kept wanting to learn more of it. So I would just say just don't stop. Just don't stop at the bottom. Keep going.
Yeah,
so,
you're doing like
going
kind
up.
of like you can do it kind of mentality.
Yeah. Keep learning, keep growing, for sure.
Absolutely. What would you say is your favorite part of what you do?
I think for me, it's just like it's different every day. Like, you don't know what you're gonna come into, but it's always like it can be. You have your bad days, but you also have your really good days. But it's just like it's never boring. I will say.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask a favorite question, but you ruined it for me.
Oh, I stole the favorite question.
Well, I was gonna say, what's your favorite spot in the downtown mall, especially since you're so downtown central?
Like to eat, to drink,
anything that you feel like a go-to spot, like, or maybe like an out-of-the-way place that you feel like the audience should know about.
Yeah. So I've been going to Botanical, the plant-based little restaurant here that we have here. I love that place. Like, I enjoy it. I'm not vegetarian, but like I will go every once in a while there and hang out there.
I gotta
so.
check it out.
No, you don't have to be to enjoy it.
No, it's really good. It's really
yeah.
good.
Oh man, I gotta try. Yeah, to be honest, I never went for that reason. I'm like, oh, should I go? I'm not vegetarian.
No. I mean, I
it's
enjoy
not vegetarian
it.
exclusive, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's really good.
I'd give it a shot. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, Vanessa. So I mean, this has been fantastic. I've learned some things about. To be honest, I didn't know how much was involved in property, like what a property manager. I just thought it was like, if you call up looking for an apartment, the person you talk to is probably the property manager. But I
thought that was the person you complained to.
Yeah. Well, that's the main person that I do. I get most of the complaints handled, but yeah, no, there's a lot to it. But I agree. You hear property manager like, oh, you just managed an apartment complex. No, there's a little bit more to it. So.
Yes, you got to keep track of so many things. Marketing and growth and what goes into it. So there's a lot.
There's a lot. Yep.
That goes into it, but. Charlie is a great friend of Fort Adelante, great guy. So
he's a great guy. Yeah.
It's always great to be to see who are working with him and what he does.
And we have a good team, so I think I enjoy that about the York Place Apartments. Working there. So.
Oh, fantastic. All right, so Vanessa, if anyone's interested in finding out more or even like saying, hey, I would like to check out where some of the apartments are, what's the best way to get in touch and find out more?
Yeah, so you can find us on the website, yorkplaceapartments.net. And we are also on Instagram, so you can find us at York_property.
Awesome.
Nice,
Super
okay.
easy.
York underscore property. Okay.
York
wow.
underscore
Yeah.
property
Yeah.
or yorkplaceapartments.net.
Net, yep.
So super easy. And then the office, it just in case you're a little confused as to where the office might be, there's a big thing that says York Place on the downtown wall, and you can go in there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, there's a lot of great stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah, suite number 5.
Sweet number
Sweet
5.
number 5.
At
There
least
you
in
go.
office.
There you go.
Yeah.
Vanessa, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
No, it was great to have you on.
Thank you.
All
We started
right.
off with a bang. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, you got to go to Botanical and have the
I know,
caramel
I'd
miso
never-
latte.
Wait, there's
Is
no
it?
way.
Yeah, it's a miso latte.
There's a miso latte. I mean, I love miso.
It was a
soup.
little. It was. You have to get over the realization,
there's
the fact
miso
that
in a
it's
latte?
miso. Yeah, but it was actually really good. I was like,
Oh.
I wouldn't have thought like it would taste it as caramelly as it did. But
Oh, there we go. Well, there you have it. So, but appreciate Vanessa teaching me new things about
Yeah, absolutely.
the downtown mall. Just great to see, you know, the movement, people coming in, and new people just getting an appreciation for what's downtown and how
Right.
much there really is to do.
Speaking of which, things
Speaking
to do
of things
downtown.
to do downtown, I can certainly think of something to do this weekend, because you have, I think, 4 opportunities?
Yeah, 4
Friday,
opportunities.
twice on Saturday, once on Sundays, but we're going to get to that.
Which is great.
'Cause
So we will.
We are super excited to welcome to the show this morning Leanne Petit-Clement. She's the General Director of Charlottesville Opera, bringing with her Linda Brofsky, who is going to be the director for this weekend's performances of Guys and Dolls. Linda, Leanne, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you
Good
for
to be
having
here.
us.
Oh, so great to have you on. So I mean, Leanne, you've been here before. You're like a pro here. But Linda, for those who haven't met you before, how did you first become interested in opera, in the directing part of it, and how did you get connected to Charlottesville Opera?
I started out in high school working backstage for an opera festival in the summer, and it was a way to earn money. I mean, it beat waitressing, and I kind of worked my way through the various levels at the company when I was in high school and then college. And one of the singers, when I graduated, said, "Okay, you've got 2 fancy degrees. What are you going to do with them?" And I said, "I don't have a clue. I'm going to, I don't know." And he said, "I think you'd be a good assistant director." So I went, "That sounds interesting." And I went to New York, and the rest is history. I assisted people, and I actually, the second year I was an assistant, they fired the director on La Boheme, and the producer, he got through that first show, but then it was being repeated in the spring, and the producer said, "You know the show, it's yours, do what you want with it." But the theater was used to me being the assistant and also a production stage manager. So when I went out for my curtain call for my debut as a director, this stage-hand brought down the curtain on my head because he thought there was a problem since I had walked out on stage.
Oh
So it was an auspicious debut, and the rest is history.
no! Oh, that's hilarious. But you'll never forget it. You'll never forget that one.
No, and nor will that stagehand. I've actually run across him several times in my career, and he's always like, "You," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah."
Oh, that's
Given that story, I thought you'd be the one going, you.
Well, you roll with the punches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, and this weekend, I mean, I know Nick was lucky
My
enough
wife
to
and
go
I had
to
a
the
blast, yeah.
to go to the preview, as it were, the dress rehearsal.
dress rehearsal, yeah.
For it. How was that? Out of curiosity?
That was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. Like everything was so perfectly done. I like kudos, and I actually got a sneak peek because there were some directing things that needed to be adjusted. And I was like, there's a lot to directing that I don't think people realize. They always assume it's like you just hold the camera and like for a movie set and that's it. But that's not it at all.
No, you're running up. You're on the God mic. There's a lot that goes in, and it's
The
still
God
we're
mic. Is that what it's
the
called?
God mic is called. There is a microphone that the director has. We use it rarely,
Right.
but it sound for the audience. You sort of hear it, but the stage it sounds like the voice of God coming over. So they call it the God mic. But no, we are still working on it. We will probably be working on it till 4:00 opening day. But
Wow.
Yeah, just the little
a
finishing
lot of
touches
finishing
and-
touches, changing light cues, timing, some costume things that we are adjusting.
Right.
And the singers get notes really up until opening night.
Right.
Wow,
Wow.
that's amazing.
It's so
That's
involved.
amazing.
Yeah.
Leanne, from your part, how? Because I know at one of the dress rehearsals, I mean, one you had knit, so it's like, all right. The other one, I know there were some little ones
Yes.
that joined you. How was that
Yes,
like?
so this was yesterday. We had our Kids Fest, and I was so excited to do this year because in the past we've had it in the evening, and so our attendance has been not as robust as I was hoping. And so this year we moved it to the afternoon, and we had a great crowd of kids and their parents and camps come through, and they get to see just Act One. And it's a little teaser. Please come back in the week during the weekend. But they loved it. They went wild for all the costumes, the dancing, the singing. There are some funny little sounds from the younger kids because there's a little bit of kissing that goes on in Act One,
Just a bit.
And so it was funny to hear those reactions.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not what they want to see. But I mean, it's such a great show. It's such a classic
Yes.
musical. And Linda has put so many details into it in such a short time period. It's really incredible. Plus, we've added, this year for the first time ever, we have professional dancers as part of our cast.
Wow.
And one of the reasons that Caroline and I thought Linda would be so ideal to direct this show is because she has a choreography background, and she I just knew that she would work well with our choreographer, Casey Turner, and bringing this show to life. And working with those professional dancers because we just hadn't done it before.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I did note that in my review that the dancing was phenomenal. Like it was really, it had that classic feel, like from like watching a Gene Kelly movie. But at the same time, it was new. It was still refreshing. Like it wasn't like I've seen that like a billion times. It was really fun because it's so much different when you're live in theater.
Well, and we have, as Leanne said, we have 4 beautifully trained dancers who also have wonderful personalities. So Casey Turner, our choreographer, and I were able to integrate them more into a production. They're not just dancers. They are wonderful actors. They're wonderful performers.
Yeah.
And we capitalized on that. And I think the young artists who also have to dance. And many of these are, they're opera singers. You tell them step, I'll change, and they look at you like you're on planet Mars. But they went with it, and they got to watch what it really should look like, and they kept polishing it. So they've done a phenomenal job.
That does have to be
Difficult.
a bit of a change because opera. Maybe if you do what is it, like Die Fledermaus, you have to dance a waltz or something.
Right.
But for the most part, you're not doing the steps that you have to do in a musical. So
No,
that's
you're not
impressive.
doing the crap shooters ballet where you've got to do jazz. It's
Yeah.
really. Michael Kidd was the original choreographer, so we're talking about someone who was very skilled in that quintessential Broadway style.
Yeah, which
Dude,
is
that scene was phenomenal. Like the way that whole thing came together is really a lot of fun when you just see the lines forming and then it just culminates. It's funny because there's a climax to that scene in a sense, but because it builds towards a certain point narratively, but at the same time it's only communicated through the dance part. Like there's the song, right, Luck Be a Lady, that everyone knows, but it's really well done the way it sort of pulls together towards the front of the stage and then go black. It was like, wow, it's so well done. It's so impressive.
Oh, well, thank you.
no, but and we did. Already that's what people are loving it. MJ Arquette loving the show this morning. Elizabeth Erpy says 2 things. First, she said, "What a great way to introduce children to the musical theater."
Nice.
But she also said that She highly recommends Dorothy Dies and Dolls this weekend. The acting was phenomenal and the music was great. She's been humming it since they left the theater.
I
It's
was going to
true.
say we all dream this music. We where you hear "Luck Be a Lady" or "Take Back Your Mink" constantly in your dreams. Yes.
Right, and everybody knows "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat." That's so familiar. "Luck Be a Lady," but then also "Bushel and a Peck." You know, there are songs in there that when we first went through the music, I was like, oh, I forgot that this is in this musical, and we just have some really stellar performers here who are just bringing this show to life. You know, I have to give a shout out to our 4 leads. Elise Qualiata is our Sarah Brown. Keith Fairs is our Sky Masterson. We have Cree Carrico as Adelaide, and her accent is blowing me away. It's pretty incredible.
She gets that New York.
Yes,
show.
she does it so well. And then Chauncey Packer came to us straight from the Met as he's Nathan Detroit, and it was so exciting to have him here because here he is. He's just been on the stage of the Met, and now he's here in Charlottesville doing this musical theater. You know, but he's one of those performers who's working in both of the genres. You know, he's in New York and he's working on Broadway or off Broadway, and for him, this is a chance for him to work with a great director who can help him with dialogue and prepare. And so I'm honored to have this entire cast here. It's really wonderful, and Linda has just taken them so far forward in just a very few weeks.
Well, it was a joy to work on, and it was new for all of us. None of us have ever done Guys and Dolls, so it was our own exploration and going, what do you think we'll do with this scene? Or let's play it this way. Runyon Land it was the director's nightmare because it's not scripted, really, but it's like creating a ballet without that much ballet. And I live in New York, so it was like, I'd walk down the street and go, I could put that in Runyon Land. That was interesting. Look at I can't get through on the sidewalk because someone's reading their cell phone. In this case, it's a map, but it's like you just put it right in and say, okay, we'll use that. And
Yep. So I can sympathize with that. I've been there.
You've been there, where everyone's going down the subway, but someone stops to check their cell, and
Yep.
we have a little of that.
Which is so fascinating because my wife, her words was that it feels so nostalgic. And I turned, because she's not from New York, she's not Cuban, she's not a New Yorker, she's not like, she never wore 1950s clothing. But at the same time, there's a beautiful nostalgia that's really brought out, and the way the production design, the postcards for the travel, it was so amazingly done. It made you feel like you were part of that time period.
Well, it was a wonderful, exciting, optimistic time period because people had just come out of the war.
Yeah.
It was written in 1950, and it was hopeful. It was, and there's a joke about how Damon Runyon, who wrote the short stories that the musical is based on, how Damon Runyon put the fun into gamblers and gangsters, and he did.
Yeah.
They're lovable characters. When you realize who they were based on, they were not such lovable characters, but he's made them fun. He's made them. They all have a sense of humor. Even Harry the horse and Big Julie.
Absolutely. And these emerging artists who take on many of those roles have really loved having, I think, an individual, at first it was just a name. You're Harry the horse. Okay, well, who is that? But each of them have really created a character, and that's been fun to see those come to life. And, and the show moves so quickly, I think, because there are so many great characters in it, but also, the story really moves along. And there are, how many scenes, Linda?
Well, we've condensed it with the 2 Runyon Lands, but we've condensed it to 18. There are actually 20 scenes in this musical.
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's very big.
And it moves so quickly from one to the other. And what's amazing to me to watch, and I encourage our audience to, just to take all of this in when they come, is that not only are you seeing the beautiful staging and choreography that's happening during the scenes, but in between the scenes and how the set pieces move off and on. Linda choreographed all of that, which is really incredible to watch. I mean, it moves so seamlessly, which is what you experience. A lot of times when you go to Broadway, you're not seeing stagehands come out and move stuff here and there. It is part of integral to how the show works. It's really quite impressive. Yeah.
That's impressive. And just learning more here. I love hearing both of you talk and learning more about what like a director does in this instance, because it is so different from, I think, like Nick said, you think people hear the word director and they're thinking like guy behind the camera.
Because now we know, right? It's part of our culture, like
but
to be behind this
it's just
camera.
out of curiosity, would you say a lot of your role happens even before the show ever happens, the first performance?
Months, because in theater and certainly in musical theater, the director sort of comes up with a concept that unites all of those elements, and then you work with the set designer, the lighting designer, the costume designer, the choreographer to create that world. But there's a lot of research that goes into it, and when you've got to schedule this quick, which it's quick, you've got to come in hyper prepared because you don't know your cast.
Yeah.
So something that works in your head. There was a very funny moment one night in rehearsal where Casey Turner, our choreographer, was staging something, and she gave it to them, and they're all trying to do it. And we looked at each other and she said, "It worked so well in my head and so badly in reality." And we took a break, and then we came up with something completely different. But you don't know how those bodies are going to move or what those personalities are going to be like. I mean, I actually lucked out because the 4 leads are perfect. They are absolutely perfect in the roles. And the emerging artists, we were able to adapt those characters to fit their personalities, yet bring out what they didn't think they could do. I mean, you will see Big Julie, Craig Smith, who is the sweetest, gentlest human being you ever want to meet. And he hadn't done much musical theater, and he was like, "How do I approach this?" And I talked to him, and I told him some films to watch. Well, Big Julie is not the sweetest, kindest person you've ever seen on stage at all. And backstage, he's just a pussycat. But on stage, he is intimidating.
He gets into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that you're able to do that. Like their personalities add something,
Absolutely.
but then you, as the director, kind of bring out something that they didn't know was in there. It's like, oh, you can do that. You can bring that out in a way that only you can, which is.
Well, we also, in Hot Box, which is the showgirl, the club where the showgirls perform, we have Yirin Han, who is a Korean artist. Musical theater is not real popular in Korea. She's one of the best showgirls. I mean, she's out there selling it. And I went up to her and I said, "You have a whole career in musical theater. If you want to work on your language skills, you'd work.
You're there.
Yeah, you're there."
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
It is incredible to see those singers, especially because Caroline and I auditioned them in December, and we looked to see who had dance experience. Of course, that's important, but also just you see them perform 2 numbers, and then to say, "Okay, well, we think you can do this," and they really have. They really have stepped up to the plate. I think they've enjoyed the challenge, and Linda and I have talked about this quite a bit. Is that although we're an opera company and that's our primary focus, we also have always had this musical theater element of Charlottesville Opera, and it's so beneficial for young singers because now to really make a living as a singer, you've got to be able to do pretty much everything, and this is a great opportunity for them. So I'm excited, really excited to see all of them just step way up in a couple of weeks. And many of them, I think, will pursue some opportunities.
Well, and they also are learning how to do dialogue because most singers, as if you've gone to Fledermaus, it's very stilted. Hello, Adele.
Yep.
And you can't do that with Damon Runyon text. You just cannot do that. So they're learning, I keep telling them, they're learning the Damon Runyon dialect because he also writes there are no contractions. So he's a jolly good fellow who no one cannot deny. Well, it totally takes the rhythm out, but that's what he wanted.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And I have to constantly correct some of our principals. Don't contract it. You must speak it all because that's the rhythm of his language that makes it sound vintage, that makes it sound gangster.
Oh, how interesting.
It's
Just
all those
Wow.
those specifics and those details that
Yes.
really make this show the professional production that we want it to be. It's
It's
incredible.
incredible. It must be
Yeah.
amazing for you behind the scenes to like watch it all unfold and all
Yes.
the aspects. Because you're there. I mean, you're there thinking of this before anybody else flies in, and just to see it unfold before you must be thrilling.
It is, and that's one of the reasons I love my job so much is to see all of these people come together. You know, because our company and as a whole is 140 members, and to think that it takes all of those individuals to bring a production like this to life, and to watch them all succeeding is my greatest joy. You know, to just know that the hard work is paid off, and they've all worked hard, and man, that people have worked really hard for this show. So, and I think it shows on stage.
And in every department. I think that's the other thing that opera, we kind of know how it goes. You can rent props. I mean, high schools do Guys and Dolls, but
Right.
professionally, it's not done very often. In New York, it was 1992.
Oh, wow.
That's the last production. So consequently, we've kind of had to reinvent the wheel on many things. And you see our prop person trying to find a vintage Cuban highball glass, or you see
Should have
the
called you.
you see the set designer going through research trying to figure out what did subway signs look like in the 50s, which, I mean, New York, please, I live in an old city, they're still
Some things
there.
don't change.
Some things
Yeah.
don't change.
Yeah.
But trash cans changed, and we needed a vintage trash can.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about that.
You know, things that seem so simple, and even the showgirl costumes for. We rented the costumes, but Glenn Breed, our costumer, came up with a different look for the Bushel and a Peck, because those costumes had been ruined, and he didn't know it. And as he's coming up with the showgirl costumes, I said, please, can Adelaide have a chicken costume if you have to build one? And he said, a chicken costume? And I said, a showgirl chicken costume, please. She has a showgirl
does.
chicken
Yeah,
costume.
It's the best.
It's
yeah.
phenomenal. Yes.
It's a
that's
phenomenal costume, and I'm sure Cree would cringe if I told this story, but everyone was really tired at the matinee yesterday. They did a great show, but you could tell that everyone was like, what's next? And she walks out for this very intimate scene with Nathan Detroit after her showgirl number, where she's supposed to be in a dressing gown, and she still has her chicken headdress on. And she did this very serious, intimate scene with feathers bouncing back and forth. We were losing it back at the director table. We were on the floor, and she didn't realize it until halfway through the scene. And she was like, oh no.
And you were all, oh yes.
Oh, yes. And to show how good Chauncey is as Nathan Detroit, he didn't break character at all.
Wow.
He's watching feathers bounce into his face, and he just kept playing the scene like it was totally normal to have a chicken sitting
no
at
one,
its table.
no one would have ever known. That's
Nope.
right.
Oh,
no, those are
wow.
the fun. Those are the things we hope the audience never does see, but it's fun for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, speaking of fun things, what would you each say is like one of the, and it doesn't have to be the, but like one of the things you're most looking forward to, like when it actually, that the audience is going to get to see this weekend?
Wow, that's a hard
That
one.
is a really.
No, I had to throw a tough one in there. I mean, we're doing too many softballs.
You know, I mean, from my perspective, I think they're going to see something very different than what they have seen at Charlottesville Opera for many years, because this is one of the largest productions we've ever undertaken, most complicated, and I feel like Linda really has brought it to a professional level, and I think they're going to be just really, really amazed that this feels and runs like a Broadway show. And so I think they're going to really enjoy that.
I would say just the zest and the positivity of the cast. Because you can't go to the show and not feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's across the boards. There is not a single person who does not bring that. And that high level intensity. So
Oh, I love it. See, you guys, that was perfect.
I'm
You-
jealous
you
of the
got
word
me even-
zest because that's a perfect word to describe it. I didn't use it in my review, so I wish I had.
It's a good word.
No, and I think I got to express just the appreciation that we have something like this here. I mean, we're talking about a performance that New York hasn't seen in 3 decades.
It's
And
too
we're
long.
fortunate enough to have it here in Charlottesville that you can see and have 4 opportunities to see it this weekend. So, I mean, that I can't thank you both enough for just, and the whole of Charlottesville Opera for bringing this here, because it's one of my favorite musicals. And just the idea that it's going to be here and that we have something here with Charlottesville Opera that even some of the big cities in this country haven't seen in 3 decades. It's just,
It's exciting.
It's
It
very
is exciting.
exciting.
very exciting.
Definitely.
You know, and we appreciate it a lot. Just
Absolutely.
all that you do and the work that you
The
and
hard
yourself,
work, yeah.
Leanne, and the whole staff and the singers and the dancers put into it.
Well, and of course, it's Charlottesville Opera, like every other opera company, is a nonprofit, and so it's our donors, our supporters, the folks who grant us funds. We're just so grateful. We have so many loyal supporters here. Charlottesville is such a wonderful community for supporting the arts, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity, because that is what makes it possible for us to do this level of production.
Absolutely.
They've also made us so welcome. I mean, from our first day when we all arrived, they made us feel like a family, as opposed to we are the out-of-towners coming in to do a gig.
Yeah.
They've been incredibly gracious and incredibly embracing,
Yeah.
which has been great.
That's
Wonderful,
awesome. That's
yeah.
fantastic. So, I mean, last question for our audience, maybe the most important question, because now we've got them all excited and they're
That's
about to read Nick's review about all the reasons they should go. Where to get tickets and what times what are the 4 performances?
Sure. So charlottesvilleopera.org. You can find out more information. You can buy tickets either linked from there or go to paramounttheater.net to buy tickets directly. The box office is open from 10 to 2 if you want to come in and pick out your tickets. Shows are Friday night at 7:30, Saturday at 2 p.m., Saturday at 7:30 p.m., and then again Sunday at 2 p.m. So those are your 4 opportunities, and we'd love to see everybody there. You can get tickets at the door, or you can buy them again at the box office between 10 and 2.
There you have it. There you have it. So there really is no excuse. I mean, if you're like, I can't do evenings, there's 2 p.m. showing. If you're like, I'm busy during the day, there's 7:30 p.m. showing. So there really is no excuse. I expect to see our audience there when I go. So
Definitely.
it's going to be fantastic, and really just can't thank you both enough for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
This has
you.
been
so
a
much.
blast.
Thank you.
You know, Linda, I hope next time you come around, we'll have you on again.
I would love
keep
to.
coming back. This has been so much fun. I've learned so much. It's been fantastic.
Great. Thank you all for having us.
No,
Thank you.
guys for coming.
All righty. Thank you both.
You were Swaparoo just mentioned. Elizabeth Irby also said it was so fun, the chicken costume. She's right. That part.
She loves
actually-
the chicken
Yeah,
costume, too.
that whole scene is a lot of fun.
Oh man, I can imagine. I can
Yeah.
well imagine
You're
it.
gonna love it when you see it.
Yep, absolutely. Dimitri Greco, thanks for watching the show this morning. Casey Turner, watching the show this morning. So it's man, it's so I just had so fortunate to have this here.
Yeah,
and to be
it's
able to
an
see it
unbelievable
in a
place.
great place like the Paramount.
It's
so.
top quality. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is like it's top. It's a Broadway show in Charlottesville is what it is.
Yeah. Michael Guthrie, watching the show this morning, says Keith Smith and Yona Smith are happy it's happening.
Oh, good. So they're going good.
Yeah, hopefully they're
Yeah.
they're at least happy that it's happening.
Well,
So they love their
they
opera.
love opera.
so-
But I was just curious if
They
they're
should
going to
just-
go to Guys and Dolls too, because I'm trying to get Keith to go to Tosca.
Oh, there
So
we
we'll
go.
see, yeah.
There we go. So again, this weekend, Friday, twice on Saturday and Sunday, and you go to be charlottesvilleopera.org.
You can find all the links to the tickets on the Today Mañana posts.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I
Nick's
have
already-
been licking
Nick's-
the tickets so that everyone has a chance in case
Nick's
they get
already
curious,
ahead
yeah.
of me. Nick's already ahead of me. And speaking of fun things to do on the downtown mall, we are excited to talk about even more things that you can do this summer, but we're happy to bring on here Hannah Teller. She is with Friends of Seville, Hannah, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's great to have you on. So for those who haven't met you before, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you first became part of Friends of Seville.
Yeah, so I moved to Charlottesville in March of 2020. Perfect time to move anywhere. And I kind of got my start in Charlottesville by working at another location on the downtown mall. So working at another local business, and after about a year or so there, I was ready to go on to the next steps, and I heard about this new organization that had just started, Friends of Seville Downtown. I met with the executive director, the wonderful Greer Achenbach, and I was sold. So Friends of Seville, basically, it's a very new stakeholder in the downtown community, but we're focused on making sure that it's a thriving economy, welcoming environment, and that there's always something going on, which we're so lucky in Charlottesville because there always is. This is such a dynamic place, and there's always someone, even from like Broadway shows to, we got UVA, we have the Ting Pavilion, we have sports, we have entertainment, we have arts. There's always something happening.
There really is. There really is. I always tell people when they ask me about Charlottesville, if they live in the city, I'll be like, it doesn't feel like living in a big city, but it has so many of the amenities that you associate with a New York City that you just can't find in towns this size.
Other small towns, exactly. But it still has that small town feel, which is really nice and unique, I think.
Absolutely. So what are some of the recent events, initiatives that Friends of Seville had done that people may have seen?
So we just finished up Downtown in Bloom, which was our spring programming session. So that was throughout the month of May. We had several programs happening during that. So we had our first flower market. So we brought in a ton of local nurseries, greeneries, just kind of plant vendors. And we had that over at the Ting Pavilion at the beginning of May. And that was a lot of fun. We were really thrilled with the turnout. And we're going to try to make it even bigger and more fun next year. And that kind of led into our next big event, which was the flower box competition. You may have seen we had over 40 businesses participating, doing their own take on how to create the most beautiful, colorful, vibrant flower box they could. And then we had the public vote, and then we had 3 winners. We actually had a tie for first place. So we had Central Place tie with Picasso Swig, and then we had Common House come in third. It was really wonderful, and we again hope to make it an annual thing. So we hope it will grow, and every May there will be beautiful flowers that come to the downtown mall and just kind of make it look more alive and celebrate the beginning of spring.
Absolutely.
Well, that's kind of neat that it's on the one hand it beautifies the mall, but on the other hand it's a fun competition between all the businesses.
Yeah, it gets them involved, it gets the public involved, and it's not just something that you look at once and then you're like, oh, that's nice, and you go away. But since it's throughout the whole month, and because it's going to stay around for the next, we hope forever, that people really get into it, and they kind of they take a walk on the mall, and they'll see all the flower boxes, and they can vote. And we just hope that it's something that we're really working on, is just kind of creating more community downtown and kind of bringing everyone back after the pandemic. The businesses had a lot of trouble, and people are still, I think, in that mindset of kind of more isolated and not connecting as much as they used to do.
Yeah, it's almost like reaching that kind of critical mass where it's like, yeah, you know what, my friends are going, or these people that I know are going, I'm going to go too. Even like sometimes it kind of just grows to the point where like when you know that community is going to be there, you want to be part of it, regardless of what it is. But like it's just to bring, once you kind of hit that critical mass, everyone kind of says, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people downtown. I want to go be part of that.
Yeah, just that dynamic and just making it inviting to everyone. That's kind of what we're really focused on kind of achieving and putting out there.
Absolutely. So what are some of the things that we can look forward to looking ahead on the schedule?
Yeah, so this summer we're going to have more jazz on the mall on the weekends. We have the wonderful Ken Matthews coming out, and he will be performing on certain weekends. And then we are partnering on the Back to School Bash, so that will be August 19th, I believe, and that will be a really wonderful distribution of school supplies that will happen at the Ting Pavilion. We're also working with United Way on a day of service that will be in September, and that will be a day of community service, so like cleaning areas, areas, finding out what needs fixing, just stuff like that, just part of the beautification efforts that we're doing. And then we will be going right back into the Magic on the Mall series that we do in December, which will be a lot of fun for families, hopefully.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I love the combination of like there's like things to see and do, and then there's also like ways to get involved and
Exactly,
like
yeah.
do that feel good community service, do that say be there with other people, but be handing out school supplies, and if you need some school supplies, a great place to get them.
Yes.
Like that kind of combination of things that brings people downtown.
It's interactive.
Yeah, very interactive. Yeah, we want to just make sure that not only the downtown community, but the larger Charlottesville community feels like they are part of their town. I mean, if you feel like you're part of your town, you're invested in its well-being and long-term care, and you want to see it succeed and hopefully have some fun along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. This isn't your first year of doing the jazz on the? Is it?
No, we did jazz last year, and it was very
Okay.
popular. So we're bringing it back this year. Yep.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that because the jazz is so great because it drew. My in-laws were visiting, right? And we were on the downtown mall, and we start getting drawn to the jazz.
Yeah.
Right? And then I see friends of mine that I was not planning to meet there. And we're like, I know those guys. They were also drawn to the jazz, so I had to introduce them to my
brings
in-laws.
people
together.
Because
Yes,
it was
exactly.
because everybody in the mall was kind of like just gravitating, because you're hearing it, and you're like,
Like,
is
what's
that?
happening?
That sounds
Yeah.
really neat. And we're all just like kind of gravitating and towards it. And you meet people that you weren't planning on meeting that day, because the jazz is bringing them together.
Well,
I
it's
know.
smart too, because jazz is one of those. It's like one of the few musics that like everyone can enjoy, even if it's not the thing like you listen to at home. Like everyone enjoys listening to jazz.
Yeah, no one's like, ooh, jazz.
Yeah.
Exactly. It brings some of that energy, for sure. Kelly Carney watched the show this morning, liking it. So thanks for joining us there. So you've got that, and then so winter people then can look forward to, I guess, the Magic.
Magic on the Mall.
On the
Yep.
Mall,
Yeah, we'll
okay.
be bringing back the train. We're in the process of getting a new train. It's going to be an electric train, so it'll be quieter. It'll also be a lot more green friendly, and we hope it'll be just as much fun for the kids as it was last year. I mean, they went wild for it, so we're hoping to bring that back and have that same kind of joy and energy.
That's fantastic. So I guess obviously getting people to the mall, key thing for Friends of Seaville. What about the beautification? I mean, what are some other things that you're kind of looking at there?
So we're working with Parks and Rec to make sure that the plantings are always refreshed and kind of looking not dead. We're also working on making sure that the bricks are clean, making sure that there are some safety initiatives underway. We are establishing a relationship with the new police chief, and just kind of making sure that we have those lines of communication, we have those relationships, and as we continue to grow as an organization, we can start to implement these new initiatives that we are kind of have underway.
That's awesome.
Well, I see that was the impressive thing, because for everyone, just to be all clear, I'm on the advisory board for Friends of Seaville.
Which Nick loves. He
Yeah,
loves
it's,
jazz.
I'm not a board. Yeah, I'm not a board junkie like Alex. But it's one of those. Judah's laughing behind the scenes. It's true. He's on every board in the city. If for everyone who knows, the reason I got involved with Friends of Seaville in the first place was because somebody told Michael Kaplan as he was starting it that you need an ERPI on your board, and I told him you don't need an ERPI. You're just looking for Alex again. Is what it is. You're just looking for Alex. But I joined because it was very impressive about how involved, how very tangible all the efforts that they do are. It's not just let's talk about this for another hour, and then it was. There's always a direction. There's things being done. It's interactive. It's smart. Greer's extremely smart. Hannah's really smart. Like they're putting together. It's true. Like they're putting together all these really high quality ways of getting the downtown mall what's the word? Rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Yeah, rejuvenated. Yeah.
Rejuvenated.
Yeah, and I mean, we're helped by people like Leanne, Linda, by Vanessa. There is a strong downtown community, and we do have that pull of bringing, we have Broadway productions happening in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy for a small town. So if we can make sure that stuff is stewarded and celebrated and continued, then we've done our job well.
I like that word choice, stewarded. Yeah.
Yeah, that is what it is. Good stewardship. Like, we have this beautiful space. Let's all pitch in and do what we can. Keep it beautiful. Keep it full of people. Keep it safe.
Exactly.
And then once you do those things, more people will come.
I know, it just builds on itself. It's a snowball effect. So as long as we can kind of get that ball rolling, then it's going well.
Absolutely.
It's the jazz.
Exactly.
You just keep doing you keep doing the jazz. You'll keep just like
Everything will be fine. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like a magnet.
Everything, if it's working, it's the jazz effect. It
Oh,
brings
yes.
people to the center. Yeah.
Exactly, the jazz. That's what we'll call it from now on. We'll just say
Great.
the jazz
Okay.
effect.
Yeah.
The jazz effect, absolutely. So for Hannah, for people who want to support or find out more about what y'all are doing, what's the best way for them to do that? Where should they go?
So you can find us at friendsofcville.org, or you can reach out to us at info@friendsofcville.org. And we're always looking for volunteers to hear your ideas. Greer and myself, one of us will always be at the Bradbury Cafe on the downtown mall on Tuesday mornings from 9 to 11. If you want to come and talk to us in person, to share your thoughts, opinions, if you have a wonderful idea, we'd love to hear it. And donate. That's the best way to keep us support. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we stay afloat because of community contributions and the support of those in the downtown area.
Awesome. So fantastic. So I would definitely encourage people to check it out. So friendsofcville.org.
Yep.
Friendsofcville.org. Or just go to the Bradbury. What is it, Tuesday?
And we'll be there. Yep, you'll find us.
Bradbury's a beautiful space too.
Oh, it's
right?
amazing. Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, if you need an excuse to
Excuse to
grab
try
a
the
couple of
Bradbury
coffees,
Cafe.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm going for a business meeting with Hannah this morning.
Very efficient. Yes.
There you go. Oh, Hannah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks
Thank you
so
for
much
having me.
for coming on and telling us about the amazing things that are going on. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. That was great.
That was a great show.
Great
It was
show.
I didn't realize it was going to be so downtown because you forget that the Charlottesville Opera it's a downtown
Yeah.
company, right? And they do it at the Paramount. I think the only exception to that was the one year they did it at the Tink Pavilion after the pandemic.
But that is also downtown.
Right, but that was other than
Just not at the
Paramount is what
Paramount.
it's referring to. Yeah, but
So
it's
you always
amazing.
you're good at making these themes that even you don't realize. That
No,
there's a theme.
it's Eru Iluvatar just weaving things together. That's a deep Lord of the Rings reference.
Yeah, very deep Lord of the Rings reference,
But the idea is that like these things tend to just happen of their own.
work
like
out.
they work out. Like I don't like plan for. But
it works.
Shows with themes,
works.
but yeah, no, it's great, and it's great because like think about it. You have an organization beautifying the mall. You have people like Vanessa looking for tenants that are trying
and
to like
keeping
are
the
excited
properties
to be
up to
here.
date and the apartments looking great. So
Right.
yeah.
And again, and then you have the Charlottesville Opera that's putting together like two amazing shows. Like I hate to say two in advance because I haven't seen Tusk yet, but like I've been to enough Charlottesville Opera performances. Like they are top quality no matter what,
Absolutely.
and it's only going to get better. And because it's interesting because there's everyone there. When I was at the dress rehearsal, like they're working. Like it's not like I felt bad to just come in and say hi. I mean, everyone's super, as you can see just from being on. They're all wonderfully friendly. So like everyone's getting up, giving us hugs. Michael Sloan was there, like wanted to give my best. He's like, give my best to the family. So Michael Sloan shouted you
thank
out,
you.
Maestro Sloan. But like it's details like and Linda on the God mic, like Elizabeth and I were there when just a couple I don't mention what was
Small
happening,
changes,
but
yeah.
small things that needed to be paid attention to,
Yeah.
and you don't realize how big. And I was telling Elizabeth, like, was that necessary? I was joking with her, like, was that necessary? You see, it's all necessary.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
just takes it to the next level.
Yeah,
and the
it's the
quality
detail.
of the performance.
It's all into detail.
Absolutely. So much to look forward to. Just to recap, remember it's this
Get your
weekend.
tickets, yeah, and the
Yeah,
tickets
it's
are not badly priced at all. I think the most expensive ticket is $65 and the cheapest is $25. So like they're extremely
in New York,
affordable.
you realize you would be paying like multiple hundreds of dollars to see.
Yeah,
a
it's like
Broadway show this
$100 to look at the pillar.
Yeah.
because you're in that seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the quality that you can get, it's so reasonable.
Yeah.
And so this weekend, so Friday, Saturday, twice on Saturday,
Twice on
and
Saturday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
So Charlottesville
2 p.m. and 7:30
Opera.org.
p.m.
Be sure to check it out. Rosalita Torres says she wishes she could go.
Yeah.
She's not going to go, but hopefully she'll. Yeah, like come in July and. I'm
If
sure
you come
Nick
in
will
July,
take you
yeah, I'll take
to
I'll take you
Tosca,
to the
and all of
Tosca.
you living here, see, even in Miami, they wish they could come to performances like this.
I don't know if they have
So-
that in Miami.
I have no idea. So be sure to check it out next week. Also some great, I believe next week we will be talking a little Tosca. I believe.
Yes, the Charlottesville Opera is returning.
Yes, we got some Tosca talk next week. We're going to have also Sydney Chatalos, founder of Marathon Marketing and Branding LLC, and Sydney Turber of Digital Marketing. So we got maybe some. I love the double marketing, but also the double Sydney.
So when I booked it, I immediately thought A Tale of Two Sydneys.
Oh,
But that's a pun that didn't need to happen.
That's not bad. But two great entrepreneurs here in the area, so that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
To be sure, so some great marketers and entrepreneurs we're going to be talking to. Of course, talking some Tosca. Loved being here with you today. Always a pleasure. Judah behind the camera, making it all look good. Jerry in studio, making us laugh, giving us the thumbs up. Love it when he's in here, and just love being here on the set. Thanks for getting some fantastic guests. Thank you, our audience. Really appreciate the comments, the questions. Elizabeth Erpe sending us a couple comments today. Michael Guthrie, thank you.
I apologize to Kevin Higgins. I missed your comment, but I will make sure that next time we are. Yeah, sorry, Kevin. I saw it only. It was a question for Vanessa, but Vanessa was off when I caught it, so I apologize for. But we'll get you next time.
We'll get it to her. We'll get an answer for you on that one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, Kevin. Always appreciate it. Of course, thank you to our presenter, Emergent Financial Services, to our great partners at Charlottesville Opera, Credit Sirius Insurance, Matias Sion Realty, Castle Hill Cider, and Forward Adelante. Thank you, our audience. We look forward to seeing you all next week. We look forward to seeing you at Dice and Dolls this weekend. But until that time, as we like to say on the show, hasta mañana.
You know, I think Castle Hill has a movie.